Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and it is time for the Nerdrotic Nooner. Well, 1 p.m.er at this point. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, everybody around the world. This is where we just chat with each other. We could talk about stuff we cover, stuff we don't cover, whatever you want to talk about. As long as it's not politics, we're good. Hello, everybody in the chat. We got a nice full room this afternoon. I keep on saying this morning because I woke up really late. It was nice to sleep in. It was wonderful. And I kind of lollygagged today. Went to the gym, kind of took my time, and that's why we're starting late. 12:30 p.m. is 1 p.m. to me. Yes, that I'm actually kind of famous amongst my friends for having my own time zone. But I'm very optimistic when it comes to my time. I think I can finish things a lot sooner than I actually do. So that's the way my wife puts it anyway. Hello, JP, Bad Bunny, Steve Nyman, Jody, Silver Spike, Bob Art Smith. Hello, Penn Farm Girl, JP. So many people. Random. What's up, Random? The Sailing Coconut. I'm going up here through the chat. And I'm kind of waiting for some other people to come in. David Fox. Oh, Mary Ashby. Did I say that already? And yeah, so there wasn't, I did a late night stream that I've already taken down. So forgive if you were there and you hear some repeated material, but not much. There wasn't a ton of news, coming off of Comic-Con. And even with Comic-Con, I felt like there wasn't like a ton enough news that we've gotten past. And this is something that Dennis and I had been talking about a lot. And Bad Bunny brought it up in our late night chat last night, is like so many shows are being delayed till 2019. And the reason for this, but I mean, like so many shows are being delayed. Star Trek Discovery is not going to be coming out this year. The Orville's coming out the second to last day of the year. Westworld, Game of Thrones, we get The Gifted. That's one of the shows we're covering. Runaways. Have no idea if that's even being shot yet. Haven't heard a peep out of it. The one thing I'm worried about is Mr. Robot. We saw Sam Esmail at Comic-Con talking about Homecoming, his new show. So he's obviously been working on that. And we know Rami Malek has been working on some movies. So I don't know if they've even... What's up, Comics Division? How are you? Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if Mr. Robot's even being filmed. I poke around on Google once every other day, just on all the shows covered, trying to see if something's coming. Haven't heard a word about Taboo. So I think it's due to all, Hollywood is in transition at this point, due to, the nature of streaming and all the people cord cutting, all the mergers that are going on. It's kind of nuts. I know that all the unions and guilds just voted. I think they collectively voted on some new collective bargaining agreement that the editors weren't down with. So I don't know if that's going to be a problem. I've heard rumors of there being possible strikes with some union. I don't know if it's the Screen Actors Guild or the Writers Union, may be coming in the next couple years. We're due. It's been a while. It's been a while since that writer's strike. And I was working down in Hollywood right after that was over, and that had a lot of bad feelings for that. Mr. Robot it's not canceled. They're definitely getting another season. I just don't know when. David Fox, they haven't really said, but they keep announcing new TV shows, and some are very exciting. The two in our title, Lord of the Rings, cannot wait for that. And we're definitely going to be getting it before 2021, as Bad Bunny stated last night in my mystery stream, that if they don't make it by 2021, the rights revert back to the Tolkien estate, and Amazon loses the rights to make it and all their money, which would really suck. I mean, as much money as Bezos has, I think he'd be really upset losing $1 million or $1 billion. $1 billion, maybe not 1 million, but 1 billion for sure. Yeah. So let's start. Okay, and there's also that James Gunn thing. So since we like to usually start off the week in a very positive fashion, yes, there's a Time Bandit show, and we're going to talk about that. I'm I don't know. I love Time Bandits so much. We'll get into that later, Silver Spike. But I want to kind of brush over this James Gunn thing real quick, just so we can get it out of the way. Because the big news this morning was the cast of Guardians collectively showed their support for James Gunn, and I don't think it's going to do any good. Grace Randolph has already done a video, which I kind of agree with, where I don't think there's any way, shape, or form that Disney takes him back. I could be wrong. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I don't know. I always try to be a forgiving person, and those are old tweets. Those are really bad tweets, jokes, and bad jokes. And honestly, my thoughts on it are this: if it was like one or two, no big deal. Whatever. Who cares? But it was a lot. It was the amount of them that really was, and maybe between him and his friends, that was really funny at the time. But it sucks. And they also have to be consistent because they fired Roseanne, and and also, Disney does, unlike Marvel, Disney, the corporation, likes to sell to everybody. So here is this article from, I tend to go to Deadline. They seem to be the best. Guardians of the Galaxy cast pens open letter supporting James Gunn, Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Vin Diesel, among other signers. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Vin Diesel, and oh gosh, pop up. I know I got to get rid of this. And the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise have signed an open letter supporting fired director James Gunn, who wrote Pratt, who, like the others, shared the letter on his Instagram account. Although I don't support James Gunn's inappropriate jokes from years ago, he is a good man. I personally love to see him reinstated as director of Volume 3. If you please read the following statement signed by our entire cast. In addition to Pratt, Saldana, Diesel, Gunn supporters include Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, Bradley Cooper, Sean Gunn, Michael Rooker, and Palm Clementif. The open letter says the cast has been encouraged by fans and some members of the media who wish to see James Gunn reinstated as director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Disney axed the director on July 20th after old tweets, blah, blah, blah. I won't get into details. Gunn is an outspoken critic of, that guy. The Guardians of the Galaxy cast isn't alone in wanting Gunn back. A Change.org petition demanding his rehiring has been signed by 335,588 people at time of this posting. The cast open letter begins, "We fully support James Gunn. We were all shocked by his abrupt firing last week and have intentionally waited these 10 days to respond in order to think, pray, listen, and discuss. In that time, we have been encouraged by outpouring of support from fans and members of the media who wish to see James Gunn reinstated as director of Volume 3, as well as discouraged by those so easily duped into believing the many outlandish conspiracy theories surrounding him." I've heard some of those theories too, and I mean, I don't know the details on them, so I will withhold my opinion on that. The cast members specifically pointed out that while there are not here to defend jokes, and for many years ago, they wanted to share our experience of having spent many years together on set and decry the court of public opinion. Well, that pesky court of public opinion, that's not going away anytime soon, so deal. His story isn't over, not by a long shot, the actors say about the director, adding that there is little due process in the court of public opinion. That's true. The letter goes on to express the cast wish that America from across the political spectrum can ease up on the character assassinations and stop weaponizing mob mentality. Oh, well, yes. Yeah, I am all for that. But it seems to be only for one side, maybe. I don't know. This I don't know. I think I don't think Disney's going to take him back. I think he might come back. This is That's a really hard thing to come back from, although I don't think he was a pedophile, but it's going to be a tough thing to come back from. And, it's very unfortunate. I don't think Roseanne's coming back, but neither of them did what Kevin Spacey did, who was definitely not coming back. That's just, Disney's a family company, and we all know. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't think he's coming back. And Grace Randolph did a pretty decent video kind of explaining that, how he could come back as maybe getting into TV, or getting getting some support from another company. I could definitely see him maybe going to Warner Brothers. That would be weird, but possible. So, other aside from his political stuff, his actual just fun interaction stuff concerning the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff that's the stuff I've seen on Twitter. He was pretty good and open with his fans about that. So I think he's definitely a different person than he was, 8 years ago. Aren't we all? But that's tough. I'm glad I'm not making that decision. And it is funny how Kevin Feige has not said a word on this one. It was Alan Horn who did the firing, and it was immediate. So yeah, we all know what happened. And we never did find out what he was teasing from Sony. Did anybody out there see what that was about? It's so weird how that went down. And it really was the talk of con. It was the complete talk of con. So yeah, I don't think he's coming back. I guess my guess is Waititi, the guy who directed Thor Ragnarok, is probably going to take over and do Guardians 3. It'll definitely be a different movie without James Gunn. I mean, he is those movies. So we'll see. We'll see. The actors, if they really felt that strongly about him, they could just refuse to come back. We'll see. I doubt James Gunn would ask them to do that, but if they felt that strongly about him, they could. I think that will be the one way to show power. But I don't even think Disney would bend on that point, to be honest with you. Right. So yeah, the nasty stuff's out of the way. Let's talk about fun stuff. Here, I'm going to get back to the chat up here. Yes, Time Bandits. Time Bandits. Come back from what? Telling jokes, says Mako. Yeah, it's the content of the jokes. I mean, I don't make the rules, man. I'm just talking about an article. It was the type of jokes, but I think he has a chance of coming back. I just don't think with Disney. How's that sound? He's not coming back to Guardians. Yeah, I agree with that. Matthew Grewing, he's done there. He's done there. Now they care about character assassinations. Yeah, it's life comes at you fast. Life comes at you fast. Hey, I still didn't get an alert. Hello, guys and gals. Furry things from Alpha Centauri, and Ed the Klingons, and Nigel, super intelligent shades of the color blue. Oh, wow. John Bellman. Ding, dang. Doors and corners. You're right, sir. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Damn, John. John's amazing. Again, it throws me off. It throws me off. Let's ask Sony. I don't know. And John, speaking of the Expanse, so I just finished this morning rereading Cibola Burn. And I've this is my fourth time reading that book over the last 3 years. I got a lot more out of it this time. Maybe because I sat down and just kind of read it over the course of 4 days. And before I'd read a couple chapters here, wait a week. The book gets criticized a lot. I liked it, but I definitely saw there's some glaring problems in it that I will talk about in the review. Particularly the ending. I don't know. I don't know. But John Bellman got me thinking about that with the whole doors and corners. Because they really, I mean, they mention that the most in Cibola Burn. They talk about doors and corners the most. And what really sucks about season 4 is we're not going to get Havelock. Would you even care if they brought back Gunn? Asked RoboBrain 10,000. Would I personally care? I'm going to be 100% honest. Nah. I wouldn't. I mean, I understand why Disney fired him. They have every fucking right to fire him for that. But like my own personal opinion is not that anybody cares, and I don't think it's better than anybody else's. I don't think there should ever be a limit on free speech and jokes. I think he should be free to tell the worst joke possible. And we all have our own personal lines. Let's just like, so what I would choose to do if I hear James Gunn telling a particular, because I've told terrible jokes. I've laughed at terrible jokes. And there's just certain jokes I have a personal line with. So I might chuckle to make the person not feel bad and just like ignore them or walk out of a room. I always have that choice to turn something off, walk out of a room, ignore somebody. So the one thing I won't do is, tell other people what to do unless I'm like their boss at work. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of being told what to do outside of my boss at work. So but I think we all should have our own personal line that we don't cross and try to be civil about things. I know that's a freaking crazy world that we don't live in anymore, but it doesn't hurt to try, right? But no, if they rehired him, I wouldn't like boycott Guardians of the Galaxy or anything. Some people would, and but I am the last person to judge James Gunn on fucking anything. So, yeah, I've as Amos says in Cibola Burn, I have a lot of past in my past, so I can't be judging. Can't be judging people. Would he want to come back to Pixar? I mean, Disney. I don't think he would want to come back at this. Well, yeah, I think he would, because he would want to. They were like, you could even tell in the movies they were like a family. There was a really tight set, and that's what really shone through with the Guardians movie. Is you can tell when like you're watching. Even people are being as professional as possible. You can tell when certain movies there's a cast that are just a bunch of hired people together, and then there's a cast that really gets along. I think it shows through. It shows through with the Expanse big time. John Bellman rolling in with the avocado funds. Oh, I can buy like 7 or 8 avocados with that. That's brilliant. You got to eat them fast though. They go bad. I'm glad you can catch the live stream as well. I did a late last one just because I'm going to do some more of those. I just don't keep them up on the channel for analytics reasons. And what I do is I move them over to nerdrotic.com. So you can always go check them out on our website. If I was Warner, I'd hire James Gunn and put him on the Booster Gold trilogy. Yeah, that would be, for one, a middle finger to Disney. And it would be very good for Booster Gold, and he would be perfect for that. I think he's already apologized for the tweets like some years ago. Probably just didn't think to delete them. Didn't think anybody would go searching through 20,000 tweets. I mean, that is a lot of work. Maybe it's easy to do that. I have no idea. Cibola Burn was a tad weak to me, says John Bellman. It was. And I figured out, it took me 4 readings to figure out what bothered me. It was how a certain character, some of the writing, I hate to say this, but Naomi gets a little bit Mary Sue-ish in it, and one character is like a complete idiot throughout the entire book, and it like frustrates the hell out of me. Like he's a sympathetic character, but I think you know which one I'm talking about. Like, he's a moron throughout the entire book, just makes really dumb decisions. and it's a character I potentially like. Good day. Uh, uh, yeah, Havelock has to be in Cibola Burn, Mary Ashby. So I think they'll just have to recast him. Hi, all, says Diffuse56. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate it. Welcome. They probably use Twitter client to find keywords. Yeah. The preacher video is possibly gone. Okay, I could talk about that. So when I was removing last night's video, you click, I hit a select all accidentally, and then I hit it out, and I think I clicked preacher. Yeah, preacher's gone. It's gone. But I downloaded it. So I downloaded it before it disappeared. So I'm either going to re-upload it on the channel or just put it on Nerdrotic channel. I wasn't super heartbroken. It sucks. I can just put it back up though. I'm just going to put it back up. But the problem is the chat's going to be gone. But that's what happened. It was like 2:00 in the morning when I did that. I was really freaking tired. And I didn't even end up taking it. And what happened was I clicked the two boxes and I thought I deleted them, and I didn't delete them at 2:00 in the morning. And I woke up this morning, I'm all, oh shit, I forgot to delete that video, and hit delete. And I had the other box checked. So I was like, fuck. But I always automatically download the MP4s for the videos for the website and to back up the channel. I have the entire channel backed up on 2 hard drives and 2 computers, just in case. You never know. You never know. But it'll be back up after the live stream when I have time to load it back up. I know you guys were on fire in that preacher video. But they said the chat is not related to when you download something, which sucks. I wish they would change that. So if we upload, they like give us a little box with the chat in it. I know the chat was freaking awesome last night. Well, you guys are always on fire, Viking bitch. So yeah. They moved up the date of Avengers 4 to April from May in 2019. I saw that, Robo Brain. That's great. They did that with Infinity War as well. They moved it up, not a full month, but this one's a full month. They must be feeling really, really good about it. And they also must be listening to us. Dennis and I have been saying this for 5 years, and other people have too, that why release your movie when you know it's going to be good, when it's going to have a ton of competition? Why not release it in February? Like Black Panther did pretty damn well being released in February. Release it in the middle of January or something like that. And that way you have no competition. The reason Titanic and Avatar all made so much money was after Christmas, they had zero competition. One of those movies is arguably not very good. Avatar. I'm not a fan of Avatar. The Dresden File books get better with every book, and the Expanse are uneven. Not sure why that is. Mako, it's because they come out with a book every year. And maybe if they dialed back on that a little bit and gave themselves more time, it's impressive what they do, doing a book a year. Yeah, if they don't hire Dalton, what's up, Dalton? Yeah, if they don't hire Gunn, they should get Taki Watiti. I'm terrible with his name. The guy who did freaking Ragnarok. Yeah, they should get him. He'd be good. But it would be a different movie. Because the one thing, I can't judge his entire body of work. The things we do in the shadows and Ragnarok, I don't know how he does with like emotion. That's the one thing Guardians does great, is just tapping into the emotion of things. It's funny too, but it's got a lot of heart. It's always had a lot of heart. Guardians is my second favorite Marvel movie. I mean, my first is Winter Soldier, of course. Preacher, Steve Nyman, I could not agree more. Preacher is very, very good this season. It has gotten better every episode, which is weird. Last year, it had the first 2 episodes of season 2 were the 2 best episodes of the series. So I was like, oh my God, this is going to be great. And then it just ground to a freaking halt. It rallied pretty well at the end. It's still a very good show. But this season has been fucking fantastic. I've rewatched every episode right after we do the podcast. Yeah, highly recommend checking out Preacher if you want to just skim through season 2. If you watch the first 2 episodes, the 4th and 5th episode where they introduce Hairstar, and then the last 2 episodes, you're fine. And there's a lot of filler in there, but this season has been great. And they're putting in way more stuff from the comics, stuff that I'm like sometimes I'm not even remembering. It's because it's been a while since I read it. It's all about frame of reference. People call us out all the time because it's a YouTube channel and like, did you read this or watch that? It's like, dude, yes, I read it, I watched it, but some stuff I watched 10 years ago. Okay, I've slept since then, so I forget a couple things. There's not that much room up here, and I have to save a little bit for work, and not much though. When will they release Avengers 4? They just said April. They said they're moving it a month up. So around April Fool's Day. Is that what I heard there? Yeah, that's and it comes out digital tomorrow. I'm very excited, which means it's probably on Pirate Bay already. But I'm gonna pay. I want my UHD version. Anyone who has a problem with James Gunn has to stop watching South Park. It features a character called Pedo Bear. Yeah. That's why it's a tough one. Okay. So where my opinion comes from is they fired Roseanne, so they need to fire James Gunn. Now, if you rehire James Gunn and then rehire Roseanne, I would say that's consistent, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. I gotta blow up this chat. I am so blind. Let's see if this works. Hey, that works. Awesome. Oh my God. Avatar, you mean Dances with Wolves in Space? Thank you for the $10 super chat, John Bellman. Yes. I hated every second of that movie. Our co-host John really liked it. I don't know where it got that much money. How many of you people, answer honestly, no judging here. Did you like Avatar? I have not met a ton of people who love that movie. I'd say it's like 50-50. What type of Green Lantern movie do I want? That's a good question. I don't want Guardians of the Galaxy. I think Guardians of the Galaxy was great. It proved that you can make like the galactic type of movie. But I don't want Green Lantern filled with comedy. I think it should be a serious take. It should still be fun though and thrilling, and so like mix in about as much humor as you have in like Star Wars, where it's situational humor. I think that would be great. But I want a really expensive Green Lantern movie. The problem is it's a tough sell for normies. Halam 899. Like the Green Lantern movie. Okay, so the one that came out, the first 5 minutes with the whole escape was great. I'm like, God damn, this is going to be good. That was awesome. That whole thing. And then it just got weird. And the CG suit took me out of it. And the CG was just really bad. They really need to work on the CG, but yeah, I don't want I don't want Guardians of the Galaxy with Green Lantern rings. I don't want that. I want a serious-ish take, but not super drab. Definitely not what, the Snyderverse is. But that's the movie I want the most out of DC, because that's that's where DC shines for me personally. I go to, Marvel's supposed, okay, we're talking Marvel of past is the world outside your window. DC was always more fantastical. It was fantasy. Things were bigger, brighter. And that's what I like out of my DC. DC is very distinct from Marvel, or it used to be. They've darkened it up quite a bit over the last few years. But DC was always like a fun place to be. So, I mean, DC gets dark too, but it's always, not within their confined universe. They've dealt with dark things, but they have superheroes named Saturn Girl. I'm so excited for the bisexual disaster Cassidy, says Spam. Cassidy sometimes carries the show. He's been a little mopey, but it's understandable. But last night's episode was fucking hilarious. Oh, when he goes to that guy's grandma's house and she's all, hi, he's all, I'm sorry, I've been smoking crack all night. She's all, oh, that's not good for you. I'm making blondies. The Dresden Files came out every year as well. 15 books in 15 years, says Mako. The writer's name was Jim Butcher on that one, right? We had a booth next to him, something Butcher. We had a booth next to him in 2007. And I got to talk to the guy every day during con. Super cool dude. And the only book I knew him from, it wasn't the Dresden Files, is he wrote a Spider-Man book with Black Cat that I loved. And I'm like, oh my God, you're like one of the only guys that wrote a superhero like novel that I loved. Super nice guy. And that's how I got turned on to Dresden. He's like, oh, well, I do this other stuff too. And I'm like, really? And I felt bad. Whoa, really? Gary, did you see the Orville getting 2 extra episodes next season? I know they took an episode. What did they do last season? They took an episode off that they had already filmed. So maybe that's one of them. That's great. Oh, the Orville is going to be huge as long as they don't become too self-aware. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they keep doing what they're doing. I think they were all surprised at the hit it was, especially with the critics. Are they even important anymore? I mean, bashing that. Yeah. Yes, more Orville. There's nothing wrong with more Orville. I'm so happy to hear that. Taiki Watiti, that's right. He's okay, I guess, but he seems to enjoy diffusing dramatic moments with jokes. At least that's what happened in Ragnarok, Jody. Yeah, I think that's more of a Disney thing than him. Disney, I noticed that in pretty much everything Disney. Yeah, Mary. The Preacher. Yeah, go watch Preacher, folks. I'm a little worried about that show. I hope it doesn't Dances with Smurfs. Thanks, Stan. What are your thoughts on Teen Titans season 6? You mean Teen Titans season 6? Like Young Justice, or I thought the cartoon Teen Titans Go. It's gone 6 seasons already, are they bringing? I heard something that they were going to bring back the serious take on Teen Titans again. I'd be happy about that. I don't like Teen Titans Go. No, not the kiddie version. Killjoys doesn't have a larger audience. Apple Crow is because it's on Sci-Fi, and Sci-Fi it's weird with their promo. They had a huge presence at Comic-Con, Apple Crow, and they didn't talk about Killjoys at all. So Sci-Fi sponsored like 6 or 7 panels, and maybe I missed one, but I saw most of the Sci-Fi panels. They might have talked about it in a different one. I don't remember seeing it though. Don't remember seeing it. Oh, Star Trek Discovery. Who did somebody this morning? I am so bad. I just subscribed to him too, and I've actually been watching his videos forever. And it was oh yeah, here it is. Anti-Trekker. Yes, Anti-Trekker. His avatar is like looks like a piece it's poop or something with glasses. But his Discovery season 2 and Orville season 2 breakdown of the trailer is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So go check out Anti-Trekker. And it was fantastic. It was a great breakdown of the trailer. Actually Random's done one, and Doomcock's done one, and Anti-Trekker. I was gonna do one, but they do it. I don't need to do it now because they all did it so well. Go check them both out. And I was watching that this morning. The other video, was that the only one? I was watching some. I saw a video that breaks down why Westworld wasn't good this season, and it really breaks it down well. It is give me just a second here. Pretty much the art of stalling, and that's what they did. Yeah, so it's a YouTuber called Just Right. I had never heard of him, and yeah, he does a very good video breaking down like the writing structure of Westworld and how it kind of fell on its face. I was going to kind of do almost a whole podcast on that, but I mean, we've kind of crapped on Westworld enough, and I didn't want to crap on too much stuff today. So I'll save that for another day, but check it's Just Right. Check out his Westworld video. Very good breakdown on why they, to want to talk about becoming self-aware, they made a lot of writing mistakes. Just in my gut, without knowing the ins and outs of writing, like I can point out bad editing, but I don't know the ins and outs of writing. I just knew in my gut that there was something wrong with the show and I wasn't enjoying it. And he breaks down why. Sci-fi has nothing but a big circle jerk, nothing getting accomplished. Viking bitch. I love how you just cut straight to the point, and that is true. Now they are they're reviving the serious Teen Titans with the 6th season. Okay, picks up from the 5th season. So they're said, yeah, that I'm happy about that because I liked the serious Teen Titans. I thought it was really well done. I watched that with my kids. My wife and I met Puffy Amiyumi, who did the theme. They're very cute. I avoid all STDs. Stanley H. Tweedle. I love to hate watch STD. You just have to protect yourself. Yep, it is an enjoyable show to hate watch. Just going over that trailer again. In the beginning, and so they basically point out that you have to be special to see this certain special thing, and then they go to Michael Burnham, Mikey Spock, which was the most unsurprising thing of the trailer. And it looks like she's looking at something that looks kind of like, I don't know, a glowy vagina a little bit, but then it's like a silhouette of a person. And then there's like 7 blobs of red that they have to fight, not super intelligent shades of the color blue, but super mean shades of the color red. And I guess there's 7 of them. And only Michael Burnham's going to be able to understand these super mean shades of the color red, which are probably going to end up being like really, godlike, and Mikey Spock will be the anointed one, and she'll be able to create her own universe. And she'll just become a god basically, and she'll kick Q in the ass. It's silly at this point. It's like, it's ridiculous. And then, we talked about it on the Friday podcast. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. When they try to be like the Orville, that shows you how far it's fallen. I mean, it's so funny in so many ways that they tried to be like the Orville at the end, like even using an elevator joke, which was, yeah. We wanted to ask Seth MacFarlane about that, but they only let like 9 people ask questions during that panel. Brain condom. Yes, we need a brain condom for STD. Sci-fi and CW are horrid teen dramas. After teen dramas, yeah, the CW is setting superhero shows back years. With such a good start, like all the shows had pretty decent first seasons. And right now, like yeah, Black Lightning's probably the best show they have. I'm afraid to break down the Orville trailer because I can't risk getting a copyright strike. A few channels got them last year for Orville reviews. Yeah, you got to be really careful. And that fair use thing, random, is super murky. And there's also a scam going on of people because YouTube doesn't really look into who puts in the claim. So apparently there's some offshore stuff where people claim their WBTV or something to put in a copyright claim. I don't know what they stand to gain. That's just what I heard. But most people don't fight it because there's that ominous, you know, if you could lose your channel thing there. So most people just go fine, you know. I put a single frame from Westworld in one of our recaps random, and we got a copyright claim on it. So I don't put anything ever. I do websites because I know that's fair use. But if you put a picture up or anything, you have to put credit down in your description, but that's not going to help all the time. So that's why I don't do trailer breakdowns or anything like that. We could just discuss it and out of memory, but it's not worth losing the channel. And I was really happy when we started getting more views when we stopped doing all the fancy editing and stuff like that and just started talking. That's why I do everything live. You know, hey, I stumble sometimes, whatever. And, but at least, you know, like that's what I thought at the time. There's no editing. I'm not like giving you all the best bits of my conversation. You're getting the whole thing, warts and all. Give us some good news. Okay. I think this is good news. It depends. Okay. So I like 12 Monkeys. It is very different from the Terry Gilliam movie. You cannot reproduce Terry Gilliam. It is impossible. That guy is such a unique artist. And he's an artist first. He's a filmmaker, but the man is like gallery level artist, like a true art, like Warhol, but better. I think he's just an absolute artist in every way, shape, or form. Apparently he said some controversial stuff that I thought was pretty funny myself. But they're doing a Time Bandits TV show. Now, Time Bandits is, I would say, my third favorite movie of all time. Yeah, third favorite movie of all time. It came out in the year of film, 1982, where so many great movies come out. But the world, I wanted to live in the world this movie created. I was talking about a little bit last night on the secret stream, my obsession with maps. I have a copy. They made a bunch of counterfeit copies of the map of the universe from Time Bandits. I have a copy of that. I just how everything lived in, the attention to detail, how Terry Gilliam, you know, just his directing style, his costuming, his art direction, it's utter beauty to me. So it's almost a perfect film, Time Bandits. And I was 12 when it came out, so I was aware of Time Bandits before I was super aware of Monty Python's Flying Circus. It was something that was on PBS that I watched 2 minutes of. Didn't really know there was a connection except for that John Cleese guy was in it. So they're turning it into a TV show. Dennis had posted this on our Facebook page, but I didn't read it. So we are going to read it now. And again, I think this is good news, and it's coming from Apple. So Apple's starting to make its move now. I think maybe a little late, but you never know. They got it. They got more money than God right now. So Apple makes rights deal to turn Terry Gilliam's Time Bandits in the TV series. Now, I don't know who owns the rights, so we'll find out. Exclusive. In the latest series play, Apple is closing a deal. So it's not absolutely made yet. Excuse me. For the rights to turn the beloved Terry Gilliam directed fantasy film Time Bandits into a TV series. I'm told the series will be developed as a co-production between Anonymous Content. Oh, Anonymous Content's very good. ladies and gentlemen. They put out some quality stuff like, oh, I don't know, Counterpart, Mr. Robot, Paramount Television, and Media Rights Capital. Gilliam will be a non-writing executive producer alongside Anonymous Content and MRC. So he is involved. That's good. But executive producer could just mean we're giving you props and you're not really doing anything. Released in 19, was it 19? I thought it was 1982. I guess it was 1980. My bad. Time Bandits is a dark, irreverent adventure about imagination, bravery, and the nature of our dreams. It follows the time traveling adventures of an 11-year-old boy, history buff named Kevin, who one night stumbles on 6 dwarves who emerge from his closet. They are former workers of the Supreme Being who have stolen a map that charts the holes in space and time fabric, using it to hop from historical era to the historical era to the next in order to steal riches. Throughout the movie, they meet various historical and fictional characters, including Napoleon Bonaparte and Robin Hood, while the Supreme Being simultaneously tries to catch up with them and retrieve the map. Give me the map. Love that scene with the giant head going down the hallway. Time Bandits was made by Handmade Film. The film shingle, the former. Sorry. So it was basically produced by George Harrison and Dennis O'Brien. It had begun, and that's a relationship that had begun with Life of Brian, the 1979 comedy with Gilliam and his Monty Python cohorts, while the company generated films like Mona Lisa, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, mounting debt that was guaranteed by the former Beatle, led Harrison to exclaim, "My sweet Lord," and ended up suing O'Brien after the company dissolved. Oh, that's too bad. But Time Bandits, a quirky cult favorite, might never have gotten made without Handmade. So the TV series is a fitting nod to a bold little company's legacy. Yeah. What's there not to like about a Monty Python related comedy funded by a Beatle? Every part of that story is fucking cool. Every bit of that movie is fucking cool. It stands up today. The giant, everything about it. I'm also, listen, I'm a gushing fan of Terry Gilliam. I also love The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen. Fucking adore that movie. I adore everything the guy does. Everything, even the Brothers Grimm. Okay, I like that movie too. I think, yes, anonymous content being involved, I think we should all be very encouraged that this will be a good TV show, and it's actually perfect for it. But as long as they, with fantasy films, just remain timeless. That's all I'm going to ask, is don't get caught up into, you know what? Don't do a time traveling show where they're, running around America and dealing with do historical kind of, go with where the movie went. Make it a straight fantasy. It's at Apple. It could have some serious money behind it. It could be a great show. Just remember to write good stories first. That's all we ask. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? What are my thoughts of Johnny Depp being in Fantastic Beasts as Grindelwald? He's a little too old for that Grindelwald. That's at least my feeling on it. So if we do the math, right, and Voldemort had seen Grindelwald in the prison during Harry Potter's lifetime, but he's Johnny Depp's age in the 30s. He would have been, okay, so Johnny Depp is 50 something, so we'll say 52. Okay, we'll say he's 52 years old. Maybe he's 52. And it was 1930, and you go 70 years, and then you go another, it's 80 years. So he'd have been like 125 years old, something like that. So yeah, that doesn't really line up for me. I thought he was younger back then. Jude Law, but maybe wizards live longer. I don't know. I don't know what their actual ages were in the books. they might have mentioned that, but I completely missed it. I think it's fine though. I like Johnny Depp, and I look forward to seeing Jude Law as Dumbledore. I am a fan of Harry Potter, and I want him to be good. The last Fantastic Beasts was kind of boring. I'm sorry. I kind of liked it, but you know. Yes, Apple will do Time Bandits. Right now it's just a deal that's closing, so it's not done. Very early stages. There's no showrunner, anything like that, but that definitely caught my eye. I think a lot of stuff is too young adult in comic shows like Cloak and Dagger, says Mary Ashby. Yeah, Cloak and Dagger's completely frustrating because that could be a great show. It could. Except they just decided to slap a superhero label on a basic teen drama. Time Bandit still holds up. Love that movie. It absolutely holds up. That one needs a 4K Blu-ray, please. I don't know if there's a 4K transfer. I doubt it. But it absolutely needs like a beautiful transfer. If I like Time Bandits, then you might like Crossroad with Rutger Hauer. I'll check it out. I'm not completely sold on Depp's Grindelwald, but who knows? He might be awesome. He might be. We run the danger. I mean, that's something we're okay with knowing about, but you know, Feisty brought up like, don't you want a Marauder story? And of course I do, but then I think no, I don't. The Marauders, that's something I think it's best left to our imagination. Is it too late for a Teen Titans Justice League Ultimate crossover? Probably. Egotastic Fun Time has a great YouTube Orville channel. Yes, he does, Brian Smart. I've watched many of his videos. I subscribe. I think we liked a couple of tweets together. I saw him on Twitter a little bit. It's cool. It's cool getting into the Star Trek Orville family. There's a lot of like groups pairing off, but that's the one I'd rather be in because it's a lot more fun, to be honest with you. Even the hate for Star Trek Discovery, while they tried to put us in that corner of being racist, sexist, blah blah blah, that shit ain't gonna stick. That's, you know, because I don't know. All I have to do is parade my family. I hate that whole fucking justification thing of like, I'm not a racist because blah blah blah. Fuck that shit. But yeah, all I have to do is parade, you know, just, I don't know me a little bit and you'll know that's fucking ridiculous. So that stuff won't stick. And plus I've kept it completely to content with criticizing Star Trek Discovery. I don't care who's playing what. The stories suck. I love Mr. Robot. I did crazy cliffhanger, and then we're stuck like waiting 2 years for the next that I don't like. Did I say there's nothing wrong about that? I did say there's nothing wrong about that. I don't know what I was talking about, Mako. Mako, you're awesome. Nothing to worry about. Time Bandit sounds like the name of a series that plays on the BBC. That's probably where, I mean, at one point it should have belonged, but thank God it's not going there now. The Beeb is not what it used to be. Okay. Apple has trillions of dollars, Gary. They can make they can make time if they want to. I think they're actually working on it. Yes, it's going to be Time Bandits shot on location. They got that big spaceship. I ate lunch down there once, and man, their commissary is good. Got a couple buddies who work down there. Boobies, yeah. Okay, so like last night on the mystery stream, I clicked on an eBay link Because we were looking for Expanse toys. There's like no models or anything. I'm looking for custom stuff. So I saw a Rocinante thing, and I clicked on it, and on the bottom there was like a naked action figure or 3D model. What do you guys think it was? It was like a 3D model or something like that with just giant boobs, right? And yeah, I got porned by eBay. And then I got lectured by pop-ups and stuff like that. I really need to work on that. You're right. You're all right. But yeah. So that became the booby stream. The booby stream. I know everybody loves Time Bandits, but for some reason I prefer his other movies. It's still great. That's fine. You know, Penn Farm Girl, it's all a matter of perspective. I saw that movie. I talked about this in the stream last night. So Goonies is a great example of a movie that really speaks to a generation that's younger. Okay. There's people who just adore the Goonies. It is their flick, right? So those are people like 4, 5, 6 years younger than me. I saw the Goonies when I was 17, 16, 17. Or did it come out in 85? I was in my teens. I was in my teens when it came out. And I think I was like 15 when that movie came out. And it just didn't speak to me that way. So I always thought it was just meh. I never understood the obsession for it. So Time Bandits might have been that for me. I saw it when I was 10. And Kevin was 10, so I could totally identify with Kevin. And at the time I was like a lonely kid who played with his action figures and threw the football. I would play catch with myself with a football. It's like the saddest thing ever. One time a neighbor saw me and came out and played catch with me because he felt bad. I'm like, no, I'm totally cool. I was totally fine. I have set my tee up and I would kick footballs over the soccer goals to kick field goals and throw a football to myself. I was perfectly happy playing with myself, but it looked sad. It really did. But I identified with Kevin a little bit, and just and the whole beauty of that movie. I got sucked into that world. I mean, every detail of it. I mean, just the costuming that stands up today. Some of the best costuming I've ever seen. So, and just how they the special effects with the giant and stuff, and how it stands up today is in its art and how it's done. Your internet died out. You've missed me gushing about Time Bandits for like 10 minutes. I could totally see why somebody wasn't a kid watching the Goonies won't love it as much. It's a kid's show. I saw Time Bandits last week. Not super into it. Yeah, it's something I freaking adore. It's a beautiful movie. I know you're all about the Migos, Gary. I am, Davis 404. I am all about the Migos. I'm very happy they reproduce some, because paying, I don't mind paying. Well, paying $1,000 for some of them is kind of a bummer. But they're with Migo coming back, maybe they'll do some, hopefully they can get a Marvel license and do some of the things they never got to do. By the way, the bodies on the new Migos are great. They're like really solid and good. And yeah, Migos are back, Davis 404. And I will ask the question, do you know how to do the rubber band on the inside to keep the arms and legs together? I taught myself that. It's actually pretty easy. It's pretty clever what they used to do. They have a little elastic band, and they just the tension. It's just tension pulled on the arms and the legs. It's kind of genius. Yes, Penn Farm Girl, there needs to be a Doomcock Migo for sure. By the way, I'm staring at our Lord and Savior. His pictures on my desk. Right next to, I just put that over a picture of my son. No, I'm just kidding. When Time Bandits came out, I don't know how much money it made, and I don't know if it's for everybody. You really got to be into that stuff. But that's why Hitchhiker and Monty Python and just pretty much everything English is super influential to me. That's the time I was reading Douglas Adams and getting into the Hitchhiker radio show and all that stuff. Would you trust Noah Hawley to do a live action adaptation of the Invisibles? Says silhouetted animator. Yes. Emphatically yes. I would trust Noah Hawley to babysit my kids if they still needed babysitting, which they don't. That's my son, perfectly happy being by itself, but I worry. He has friends at school at least. Mary, same with mine. Same with mine. My youngest is on the spectrum, they say. He's a wonderful kid, though. Wonderful kid. He's mainstream now. Everything's, it's fine. He's just, he's just different, but he fits well into this family. Migos are back. I'm so fucking excited for Migos, man. I tell you, that when I didn't know, and I walked by the booth at Comic-Con, and I'm like, what's this? Is it just like for fun? And he's all, no, we're back. We're gonna be in Target, we're doing all kinds of stuff. I'm like, holy shit. So I bought almost everything they had. I still have original Mego Trek and Planet of the Apes figures. I do too, Silver Spike. I have no place to put it, but I have my Mego bridge, Star Trek bridge. My wife and I fight over that one. Yes, Jody, Capaldi got a raw deal. He deserved consistent writing, but he didn't get it. And Doctor Who has fallen. Doctor Who has fallen. Steve Nyman says Brazil is great too. I love Brazil. Oh, I've never been to Brazil, but I'd like to go to Brazil. I like Brazilians. I made Mego clothes. I'm a Mego Renaissance man. We need to be able to 3D print soft plastic heads. Then we can make our own. Davis 404. Hell yeah. I have a bunch of bodies. I've custom a couple. You can see behind me. I bought this one. Okay. You can barely see it, but right where my finger is a custom Ghost Rider. Love that one. And I got my custom Silver Surfer should be on its way. Marty Abrams has a video up. Target in 10 days. Nice. I stood next to him. I didn't get a chance to really chat with him, but he was there. He was at Comic-Con. More Mego dolls for Robot Chicken, straight up. Gary, I think you should cosplay as Legion in your comfy chair in the office with Melissa lying at your feet. So super powered nerds. Oh, you mean cosplay at the end, like with all those skulls sitting around there and having Melissa like preggers, like that scene that was an awesome scene. That was a fucking awesome scene. Davis 404, Doctor Who will rise again. I have no doubt, absolutely no doubt. And you know what? And even if it doesn't, there is so much good out there. I mean, like, it's the one thing I'm into that I'll read the books and all the comics. I actually think Titan's done a great job with the comics. I've really enjoyed those quite a bit. Big fan of Torchwood, Sarah Jane Adventures. Fucking love the Sarah Jane Adventures. I'll probably do a retro review on those at some point. It's just it's a fun world, and it stopped being fun, but it'll be fun again. It will be. And I've got plenty of, I just go back and what I do is I start at the Third Doctor and I just go. And not as much now because I have to watch so much for the show. Right now I'm catching up on Better Call Saul and Venture Brothers, which we're going to be covering. I can't wait for Venture Brothers. There's the Captain Action. Yeah, you said Captain Action. There's right there are the Marvel ones they did. And then I have, you saw the Spider-Man one? Like the OG, that's an OG Captain Action Spider-Man right there. And there's Amigo Spider-Man. Yeah. Love Amigos. I got more over here too, which you can't see. There's a lot more over there. I actually on the secret screen last night, I showed my whole office, but I don't think we want to do that right now. There's some dirty laundry on the floor. um, Noah Raleigh was on the THR roundtable. He owned up to making the worst X-Men movie of the time, X-Men 3. He said lessons learned from that helped him make a better Legion. Was he involved, Philip Demick, in X-Men 3? There was a good movie in there. It just didn't happen. But there was some great, like Kelsey Grammer as the Beast was great. Matthew Vaughn was supposed to do that too and backed out. Bryan Singer screwed that up by bailing out in the franchise and doing Superman and saying he'd always wanted to do Superman when 2 years earlier he said he's never read a comic book. I'm not a fan of Bryan Singer. I'm not. Mako says, I love Doctor Who. I admit it's a weird fetish. You can't stop loving it. Yeah, I can't. I can be mad at it, but it's like a child. It's like I can be upset with it, but I will never stay mad at it. No. It's not the show's fault that it's run by a government-run TV company. And to give the BBC credit for being a government-run TV company, it doesn't act like one most of the time, only recently. Although I don't watch the news there. I mean, I used to watch the BBC News a lot, but I stopped about 5 years ago. Okay, I am such I get, what is it, Anglophile? Is that what it's called? When you're like really into English stuff. So ever since I went to London, I was super pissed at Sirius. Sirius at XM used to always play BBC One radio. I got totally addicted to that. I mean, like, I don't even like pop music, but when it's playing on BBC One, I like it. Plus, I'll be honest with you, the English have better taste in music than we do most of the time. So I kind of tend to like their pop music better than ours. I don't know. It's just my feeling on it. Sorry, I'm reading. So chat, Venture Brothers, can't wait. Awesome. Here's hoping she's good. Are you talking about Jodie Whittaker? I'm sure she'll be fine. Dr. Migo has been making Migo repros for 20 years, solid bodies and replacement parts. Dr. Migo is genius. Davis 404, absolute genius. Yeah, I gave up on collecting my Migos for a little while, Davis, and then Tesla came along, and a little extra scratch doesn't hurt, and then I justify it like I need a background for the podcast. I'm gonna have to take down my picture pretty soon. That's Cosmic Crater Girl, and that's drawn and inked by Derek Robertson. I'm gonna have to move it though, because all you see is the frame over my head. So I want to fill that in with figures. They did Silhouette Animator, and here is one of them. They're kind of expensive now, and yeah, I missed the boat on those. So I just eBayed a Dr. Girlfriend and Dr. Venture and a couple others. And but yeah, I got this at Con for like $5 because it was loose, the Phantom Limb. But again, they're really well made. They're like really, really well made. So I am a total nerd, Bad Bunny. It's not even, it's like, I was born this way. This was not like a lifestyle choice. Yeah, my earliest memories are being at my my nana's house, watching Batman, 1966 Batman and Superman. They would play them back to back like all the damn time, and Star Trek, and it was kind of off to the races. I really hope to give some info on the Venture Brothers T-shirt club this week. I hope they give some. Oh, they probably will. Dennis will keep us surprised to that. He's really into that stuff. So I have the Mego Monarch. He's original Lando action figure sitting out in his lap. There you go. I'm a sucker for an accent. Yeah, me too. Me too. I have an ex-girlfriend that lives out there. Noah said he did not have enough faith in the source material and had the Cure subplot. He'll that only watered down the impact of the Dark Phoenix main plot. Absolutely. I didn't know he was involved in that. That is news to me. I love a lot of English bands, more so than American bands. Yeah, me too. The Beeb has been under serious political attack for years. Defunding is a huge problem for them. It is. Those TV licenses. Dude, tax deductible Migos. Hell yeah. I just realized something. James Gunn should write his jokes with an English pox accent like Jimmy Carr does. Yeah. Too late though. Oh, and the Green Hornet. How could I forget the Green Hornet? Actually, Slurmy Scott, for some reason they didn't show it next to Batman, so I ended up seeing that later. But I saw him when he did the crossover. And I know the story behind that where Bruce Lee hated Adam West or something like that. I have the super secret armored monarch and Dr. Girlfriend in a lunchbox. That's awesome. I got to find that. I'd look it up on eBay right now, but they probably show me porn. I have spoken to Melissa about Ladies Night. She is open to Ladies Night. It's just getting her to actually commit to a time is a little tough because her schedule is crazy. So she works pretty much 6 days a week. Sometimes it's nuts because she flies, she goes to clients' house and she's always on demand and blah, blah, blah. And she's booked 6 months out for certain things. It's hard to get. So if I was going to commit her to a ladies' night, it would have to be like 6 months from now, which is probably what we should do. Do you know how many episodes of Venture Brothers we're getting in this new season? I do not. Let's look. Viking bitch. Do we know? Brothers season 8. I'm sorry, season 7. The only thing is they're showing, I hope they don't do what they did with season 6 and give us 2 episodes and then take a big old long break for the rest. Interesting. Okay. So August 5th, the only ones they show on Google are, and you're probably answering in the chat, but I'm not reading it right now. Venture Brothers season 7, the episode 1 is August 5th. Episode 2 is August 6th. Let's go to IMDb. Not that they're a good source on this stuff at all, but neither is Wikipedia. Yeah, that's one I do. Oh, I want IMDb. I don't want Adult Swim. And sorry for the silence there, audio listeners. I apologize. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, it doesn't really, I don't know. Does anybody know out there? Is it 10? If it's okay, silhouetted anime 10, freaking awesome. Hopefully it's 10 in a row. Like they're not taking a big old break. That's brilliant. That is so brilliant. Steve Nyman says, I think Bruce Lee hated Burt Ward. Was it Burt Ward? I could have got that confused. Viking spaces their seasons out so long. Yeah. I was in that panel, actually. We accidentally sat through that panel and I'm like, wait a minute, these aren't the stars of Vikings. And Dennis told me they did a time jump or something like that. And I thought, that's pretty smart way to keep, because I thought it was ending for some reason. I don't know. Hope Ladies Night. Yeah. Well, so Ladies Night will probably be, we could try to get Viking Bitch, Feisty Fan, Random Gamer, Susan, of course, and Melissa. I think that would be great. Some of you might not even have. The last podcast Melissa was on was the X-Files season opener. 10 episodes. That's fucking great. That makes it. See, that's good news. Ladies' Night on Midnight's Edge was awesome. So we proposed it. I didn't know they were doing one. So I've been like, honestly, I didn't know. So like, yeah, we're not trying to outdo them or anything. I am a subscriber to Midnight's Edge, and Midnight's Edge After Dark have been to Midnight's Edge for forever. I think they were one of the first people I subscribed to on YouTube. I've been on YouTube for a long time, but I really didn't pay much attention to it until I think towards the end of my comic store. And I would always put on, I don't know how long Midnight's. I remember them being in the background for some stuff in like 2014. Have they been around that long? Maybe 2015. And then Comic Book Cast. I've been listening to them for forever. And Emergency, awesome. Charlie boggles my mind. All right. He's a very polished, great channel. Seems like a nice guy. Love what he does. Deserves every sub that he has. But he's just like so unremarkable. He's really solid and good, and he does the best thumbnails. Actually, he was my inspiration for thumbnails. Actually, he was my inspiration for a lot, because I'm like, well, if that guy can do it, we can try. I mean, like, I won't get that big. He's consistent with his content. He's very positive, and I think he really bucks the trend of like, you have to be controversial to do well on YouTube. It's like, no, go to Emergency, awesome. I think he might, like, the worst review he maybe gave was probably like a 6 out of 10 or something like that on anything. It's a pretty positive station. The Nerdrotic Fab 4, that'd be great. So yeah, so the invitation is open to you ladies. We'll discuss. I mean, of course, I got to ask them if it's okay, but they're welcome to come on. Uh-oh. We lost some people. Only 53. We had 60. Maybe I'm boring them with Migo talk, but that's fine. Okay, what was else that was on our title that we got to talk about? Oh yeah, let's get to that whole Lord of the Rings thing. Let's get to the Lord of the Rings. Talked about this last night a little bit, so they got a preview. So the Lord of the Rings TV show is actually happening. As Bad Bunny stated in last night's podcast, the deal with Amazon is they have a certain amount of time to make this show or they lose the rights. The Tolkien family cut themselves quite a deal. Whoever represents them is a fucking genius, and everybody should hire that person because they got $1 billion at Amazon. Plus, I think they were dealing with a tech company and not a TV company. But this deal had major repercussions around Hollywood. Altered Carbon, Lord of the Rings, these shows are something that not even fucking HBO could do right now. They couldn't afford to do these shows right now. And this tells you why so many shows are being delayed, and the problems we're having is because Hollywood is moving north to Silicon Valley. So as excited as I am about this, and I'm really excited about the Lord of the Rings thing, I was jumping for joy when I heard this, because I can still love the movies. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is probably my favorite thing. It's the thing I watch the most. I love it to death. I love the stupid long ending. I love the mushy Frodo Sam stuff. I love it all. I love every second of it. And I even like the Hobbit movies. Okay, I do. All right. So see, I like some crappy stuff too. But this gives me pause. So the Lord of the Rings hires. I got to make sure you guys are all seeing this. You all seeing this there? Okay. All right. So the Lord of the Rings hires writers J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay as Amazon series moves to develop to next development phase, because I can read. updated. After an extensive search, featured writers J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay have been tapped by Amazon Studios to develop and write the company's high-profile Lord of the Rings series, an adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's classic, which was brought to life by Peter Jackson in the blockbuster movie franchise. As Amazon Studios head Jennifer Salk previously has suggested, creating the big scope fantasy drama will involve a writer's room. Payne and McKay were selected from a short list of scribes considered for this job, most of them from features. In this talent search, overseen by Amazon head of genre, Sharon Tai Yagato, Payne and McKay are rising feature writers who recently worked on Star Trek 4. Shit. For producer J.J. Abrams. Shit. I hear Abrams was one of a number of high-profile filmmakers and producers who recommended the duo for Lord of the Rings job. Damn it. With the search for the lead writers completed, so they're the lead writers, the development of the series is moving to the next stage of setup. Writer's room. J.J. Abrams involved in another fucking property that I love. I'm not happy about this. Now, these guys, maybe they're loosely involved. Hopefully it's just they got a letter of recommendation from J.J. Abrams. That is fine. That's fine. It depends on who the showrunner is. They haven't decided on a showrunner yet. These guys could be great, but the last thing they did, I checked their IMDb, and they did Star Trek Beyond. They were uncredited script writers. So I don't know exactly. Here, let's go to JD Payne's IMDb. All right. Star Trek Beyond, writer uncredited. Godzilla versus Kong, writer's room, pre-production. Untitled Star Trek sequel, written by pre-production. So the only thing they've done is some ghostwriting on Star Trek Beyond. Okay. All right. $1 billion. $1 billion. And so these guys, they must have done something phenomenal that I'm not knowing about, like a book or something. I mean, I don't know, guys. So yeah, J.J. Abrams being involved, and he's loosely involved in the Buffy remake too, because the girl who's taking over, and I'm repeating myself from other podcasts, had written for Lost and Alias. And my question from last night that I'm going to repeat tonight is, how does this guy get so much influence? I know he's made money, okay, but honestly, if you look at his body of work, it's not that great. It's not. It's really mediocre. Nothing. I watched his Magic Box TED Talk thing. Definitely a charming, nice guy. Okay, he seems like a really charming dude, who can light up a room when he walks in there, and people just like him. And I think that's kind of it. I think he's got a little spell that he puts over people, especially with that whole the Magic Box thing. Is basically, it's all about the journey, and the destination doesn't really matter. I'm totally summing, just minimalizing it, but that's it. I mean, that's basically what it is. The thing is, you got to pay shit off. And he basically admits in that TED Talk that he doesn't really pay stuff off, and it's not really that important to him. I have a huge problem with that. So I cannot fucking believe that he is involved in another property, and it kind of crushes my hope. But maybe these guys are good. We'll see who the showrunner is. We'll see where things go. But that's weird that your lead writers are complete unknowns on $1 billion franchise. But maybe they had a hard time finding writers. Maybe the people don't want that kind of. I hear of people turning down Star Wars, which is wise. But let's go back up here in the chat now. Burt Ward was a Ward, right? Exactly. Adult Swim is notorious for changing their schedule at the last minute for all their shows, says Agent Future. I will keep an eye on that. Oh, real quick programming note, Ancient Aliens. I was going off Google and I didn't really like dig into it that hard. I just thought that I caught season 13 really late, and apparently we caught it halfway through. So there is more Ancient Aliens coming up. So I said last time that was the last episode. That is not the case. There's like 5 more episodes coming, so we're going to cover them all. Yes, we've missed Agent Bossy Boots. She will be back. She will be back like the last time she was on the channel, we just had just over 1,000 subscribers. How long until we get an X-Files reboot? Asked Apple Crow. I think they're already thinking about it. I'm only half joking. No male strippers. There will not be any male strippers on this channel, except for Dennis. Gary, if you come to Manchester, England in the future, I could be your guide. Cool. I will be coming to your fine country in the next calendar year. Hopefully sooner, not later. Going down the chat here. Would it be like Friday night format for the ladies' night? Yes. As a matter of fact, we might make it a Friday night thing or a Saturday night thing, something like that. Mako says emergency awesome lives by my motto. If there's nothing nice to say, say nothing. Yes. I don't particularly live by that motto, but I should. It's a good motto. Not going to be against that at all. Any Iron Fist season 2 news? It starts September 7th, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be good, Speedster. I saw some footage at Comic-Con. I don't know. I don't know how much they've shown, to be honest with you. So we got to see 3 full fight scenes. And they've really, really improved the fight scenes like a lot. And it looks great. And Finja more like Danny Rand than ever. He's in shape. Their looks Gary, how is Charlie able to show videos and stills in his videos without getting copyright strikes? He understands fair use. He's also got enough subscribers where he could legitimately say that he is a media outlet. So I think that does make a difference. And he's probably he probably has enough money from his channel where he was able to hire somebody to give him the ins and outs. But I mean, fair use is like fair use. He has talked about like he's gotten hit up from stuff. Warner Brothers is the worst, I've heard. Talk Lord of the Rings. No. Gary, there are people that like STD. Trust me, people will love the Lord of the Rings show. Yes. Oh, that was part of the talk we had last night on the secret stream, which was there's a certain amount of fans. I've been guilty of this too. There's a certain amount of fans who will just eat up anything their property gives them because they are just such a fan. That was pretty much where I was at with Doctor Who towards the end. And I was like, I was watching the Capaldi shows and I was like thinking I liked them. But then when you get, I base everything on rewatchability, and I like to go back and rewatch my Doctor Who, and I just can't. Moffat stuff is really hard to rewatch past season 7. Season 5 and 6 are good. I'll freely admit season 5 and 6 are really good. But yeah, some people will like them. Amazon should hire James Gunn to do Lord of the Rings. There's an opening. There's an opening for showrunner. Poor Christopher Tolkien. After all his work, the young guns get $1 billion for having genes, says Davis 404. Yep. Oh God, an Abrams connection. I'm feeling apprehensive about the show. Me too. Uh, but do you think they will add diversity, people, black, Asian, and more women? Can it be a white sausage fest like the movies? No, it won't be. And there's definitely a way to do. I mean, you know, there you still want to base it on so what the fantasy is based on is somewhat, the Middle Ages a little bit. That's kind of what it's all based on. Very roughly. So as long as you have that feel, I mean, especially in Lord of the Rings, it's a whole other world, or at least our world in another age. And yeah, I think that's what they'll definitely do that. But my prediction is that Legolas will be gay. I think and Lord of the Rings is like the last thing I want to know, who was putting what and where. I don't care. It's not that kind of a love story is fine. If you want to make it about a love story, and with a TV show, you have to make up a lot of stuff, but there's tons of stuff. They don't need to add anything, right, Mako? I think it might be, I think that might be the most controversial thing about the show. I don't see it as, yeah, it might be controversial to some, Mako. It might. Um, with the way things are there, yeah, there's no way they can get away with an all white cast, and I doubt they would even try it. I knew the Lord of the Rings writers would trigger. Yeah, yeah. I see J.J. Abrams' name, I get triggered. I admit it. I admit it. HBO would have never been able to do Alter Carbon. You're right, Mary Ashmead. Just think about this. Star Trek Discovery spent as much on their shows. I know it's not related to Netflix. Than HBO spent on Lord of the Rings, or not Lord of the Rings. A slip of the tongue there. Game of Thrones. It was okay, but Gary, have you seen the Tolkien edit version of The Hobbit? Someone edited the 3 films into a single long movie and tried to be more closely resembling the arc of the book. I have not. I will check that out. That sounds like a great idea. I like the Hobbit movies. My son Logan loves them. Again, he watched them when he was 9 when they started out. It was like a really good age for him to enjoy The Hobbit. Remember the Great Wall controversy when Matt Damon was cast, despite the era location being predominantly Chinese? They had a white dude that was so out of place. Yeah. Matt Damon. They don't have the same problem diversifying Lord of the Rings, despite the era and location. They probably don't. I don't see there being a problem. Davis 404, that was brought up last night. Only Peter Jackson should run the damn series. I think Jody brought it up last night. He's like, why are we asking JJ Abrams? Why aren't we asking Peter Jackson what he thinks? Make him an executive producer. Just, have him consult. One of them did win Best Picture, and arguably they all 3 should have won, in my opinion, but that's just me. That's just, gosh dang it, I hate it when I do that. Bye, y'all. Gotta go back to work for a half hour. Get back to work. What time is it? 2:30. Okay. Holy crap. Am I behind in the chat or what? Am I back? Uh-oh. Are we frozen here? Let me see what's going on. Oh, it says it's bad. And now it says the health is good. And when they get to the bottom, am I okay? Now I was behind in the chat. Thank you, Pen Varb Girl, for the $1.99. Bye, Apple Crow. Off to drive home. Catch you later. And bye, Diffuse 56. Everybody's leaving now. Oh, wow. 29 viewers. What the hell happened? Did I die? Did I crash? Am I back? Tell Logan to lay off the video games. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there. It usually tells me, but god dang, I lost a ton of viewers. That sucks. That totally sucks. I saw the article about a 9 to 5 reboot on Facebook. I feel a rant coming on. I like the Doctor Who episodes with Maisie Williams. They were good. But Moffat as a real just had that horrible habit, like adding plot things just because without any follow-up on them. Craps on 50 years of established continuity. It is so poorly written. Remove Star Trek from the name, and it would still be poorly written. Agreed. Felipe Diaz says Legolas is going to be a black guy for sure. I went after the goat. Yes, I went after my pet goat. Like I said, it's consensual.